Teachers Days for the Architecture Student Contest 2026. We are very, very happy and very honored to have everyone here connected to discover the first information about the contest task that we have created with our partners for the 2026 edition in Belgrade, Serbia. So here you can see the group picture that we took last year because, of course, it's also a fantastic human experience. Those of you who have already worked on the Architecture Student Contest can certainly attest that it's a fantastic experience for all parties involved, the students, the teachers, us at Saint-Gobain, our local partners. And so just a few rules for a smooth collaboration for today for our first session. So everything will be in English. Please mute your mic if you during the presentation. You will be able to ask session questions. Between each chapter of the presentation. We will give you time to ask questions, of course. And if you want to react, you can raise your hand or type your question in the chat. This is all going to be through Teams. We have videos that we are going to show you and share with you. We will have, as I was saying, time for questions. And I will explain to you a little bit later on about our online tool SparkUp, which is used to collect your questions and comments on the contest task. You will have time in several days for this. It's very easy to access, but I will come back to it in a few moments. So just very simple rules. And one important thing, so today we are showing you and you will discover the Architecture Student Contest 2026 contest task, which is in Belgrade, Serbia. But this information for now is for you only as teachers and Saint-Gobain colleagues over the world. Please make sure to have no external communication, so no post on social media, no post on public websites, or no flyers on the destination, because the destination will be revealed to the whole world and to the students on June 18th. So before June 18th, please, no external communication. As I mentioned, this session will be recorded and it will be put on YouTube with a few other videos, but it's for now, and until June 18th, the videos are unlisted, meaning that if you don't have the links, you cannot access them publicly. So this will be until June 18th, and then after, you can communicate publicly all you want. So now, without further ado, I would like to introduce you to the organization team from the marketing department here at Saint-Gobain in Paris, and our wonderful colleagues from Serbia as well, who have worked very hard to build the contest task. So I have with me Timo Marques. Do you want to say a few words?
Yes, hello everyone. Again, thanks for joining. I work with Gabriel on coordinating the contest task from a more technical perspective, and happy to have you here and to participate in the 2026 journey.
Thank you, Timo. So as Timo mentioned, he's being very humble, but he's our technical guy. And if you have any technical question, Timo and our colleagues from Serbia will be the ones to be able to answer you. As for my part, so it's very nice to meet you. I'm Anne-Gabrielle. And with my team, we work more on the organizational side of the event, so the logistics, the venues, and the communications. So in my team, you have Claudia, Chanez, and Loic. I know that you are all online. Do you want to say hi, Claudia?
Yes, hi. I'm in Saint-Gobain since 15 years, and I must say that the Architecture Student Contest is really my passion, and it will be the 5th edition where I will work on and participate.
Thank you, Claudia. Chanez, do you want to say hi to everybody?
Hello, everybody. Glad to see you all. And I am here in Saint-Gobain since August, and I'm very happy to work on this project.
Thank you, Chanez. And finally, we have Loic as well with us.
Hi, everyone. So I'm in internship in Saint-Gobain, and I'm very happy to join this project.
Thank you. So we have our own pool of young talents as well working on this student contest. And as I was mentioning, we have our great team from Saint-Gobain, Serbia, with Luca, Goran, and Nina. Luca, I know you're online. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Luca. I'm the marketing manager at Saint-Gobain, Serbia. And it is truly both a privilege and honor to be today here with you, to be part of this team, and to have the the opportunity to present Serbia and our capital city. So to give you just a glimpse what makes our country and our capital city such a specific place.
Thank you, Luca. And I don't know if Gohan and Mina are with us.
Hopefully they are.
There.
Yes, Gohan, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Mina Milinovic-Balac. I'm project manager in this team. And yes, we will keep this secret, as you said. until the date when
Thank
we
you,
will
Mina.
Really, it's not easy, but yes, we will.
I know you're very excited to communicate on it, but not until June 18th. Thank you so much. And Goran, do you want to introduce yourself?
Goran Terenevski, I'm officially business development manager, but in this role, kind of a member of the Serbian team in all the preparations and everything concerning this context.
Thank you so much.
Thank
So
you.
thank you again to all the team. So you have met our own dream team, but of course, this contest is not possible without our partners. So we really thank and sincerely thank all the partners who were involved in building the contest task and who will be involved in all the Architecture Student Contest 2026. So we have the World Green Building Council, One Click LCA, of course, the City of Belgrade. We have the Academic Yachting Club Belgrade, the Green Building Council in Serbia, and the Green and Blue Corridors Association. I am not trying to read the Serbian name of the Academic Yachting Club in Belgrade. I will keep it in English, but we sincerely thank all of our partners for their involvement. So without further ado, here is what we are going to go over today in this first session of our Teachers' Day. So we'll tell you more about the Architecture Student Contest because we know that some of you have never taken part, and we are very happy to welcome you into the Architecture Student Contest family. Then we will move on to the contest task territory, so give you more context because we know that is very important, more context on the site, on Belgrade also, and also the moment that you have all been waiting for, the presentation of the contest task, and we'll tell you more about the next steps before our second session of the Teachers' Day. So as I was mentioning, please make sure that you are on mute. If you have any question, please raise your hands or write them on the chat. And between each chapter here of the agenda, we will give you also time to ask questions. So the objective of today, as I already mentioned, is to discover the 2026 edition. So we want you, as I mentioned, and as you've seen in the agenda, to learn more about Belgrade and the context of the contest task. We want you also to discover the contest task, and this will be the task of Timo and Luca. So the contest task is the architectural challenge that we have created for the competing teams with the local partners that I mentioned. And we also want you to get a good understanding of this challenge because this is the key, because as teachers, you will be the guides to the competing students and the competing teams to achieve their design for the competition. And of course, it's an opportunity for you to ask your questions, to give your feedback as well, because you will see that at the end of this session, we will give you a first version of the contest task.
You're mute, I think.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you. Even if you're on mute, we can hear you.
Okay. Oh, yes, I'm on mute, but the room which I'm in is not on mute. So as I was mentioning, it's also time for you to, you will have time to give us your feedback because we're going to give you the first version of the contest task document, so the whole complete document with all the requirements for the competition. But we still have time until the very official launch in September of the competition to fine-tune it thanks to your feedback. Because as teacher, you are the best placed to tell us if there's anything that needs to be better explained, for instance, or fine-tuned, and based on your feedback and on your comments and questions, we'll be able to produce the final version of the contest task document. So the challenge that will be the key for the Architecture Student Contest 2026. So in terms of timeline, so today we have the first session of the Teachers' Day. As I mentioned, you will have time to give us your questions from today to June 16th. So we have an online platform called SparkUp, which I will present to you later on, where you will be able to ask anything that you that is not clear for you. So this here is to give you time to go over all the documentation, because you will see there's very complete documentation, very comprehensive. So we know that if we only give you 2 days to review it, it's impossible. So we give you more weeks to go through the documents and to ask your question as you go through the documents. And then we will be very happy to meet again on June 24th, same time, 2 to 4 p.m. French time, for the second and last session of the teacher.
And Gabrielle, aren't you mute? I think you're mute.
I think you can hear me. I think
Yes,
everybody else can hear me.
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, everyone. I think the guys are your PC is on mute, not the channel.
Yes, because I'm in the meeting room, so my PC has the little icon mute, but you should be able to hear me. So
I'm in the same room as Gabriel.
yes.
What do you say? And Gabrielle, what do you say? I cannot I cannot hear. No, we perfectly hear you. Keep going.
Perfect. So this was the timeline, and as I was mentioning, we will meet again on June 24th. I don't see any raised hands or any comments, I think, on this part. But as I mentioned, please feel free to raise your hand or write your question on the chat. So now I'm going to give you a few simple information about the architecture student contest itself, because as I mentioned, every year we are very honored to welcome new teachers and new countries as well. So the architecture student contest is an international competition for students of architecture, design, and construction engineering. And the key here is that we build what we call the contest task, as I mentioned, and it's a comprehensive and a real architectural challenge created around better living and sustainable construction. So for the students, it's a great way to have a professional experience because they have a requirement, they have real requirements with a partner in a real city on a real plot that needs to be developed. And for them, it's a way to have a great professional training and to create a design that they will pitch to the international jury and to the local city as well. It's a contest that has more of 20 years of history. So now we have seen and we have been honored to see a whole generation of students through the contest because it started in 2004 and it's a two-step competition. So first, the students from several universities compete nationally in what we call the national stage. And then we have one winning team that will represent their country in the international stage or the international final. And to give you an idea of the range of the contest this year, we had over 1,300 students registered for 600 teachers and from 211 universities from all across the world. So we had 33 countries represented. And in June, we will welcome about 250 participants who are competing for our 5 awards. So as I mentioned, who can participate in the architecture student contest? So students in architecture, of course, it's in the name of the contest, but also design, construction, engineering, or other related disciplines. You can absolutely have a team made of 1 student of architecture and 1 student of construction engineering, for instance. For the students, they can be in their first year of bachelor's degree to their last year of master's degree, and they have to be students in either 2025 and or 2026, because we know in some countries, the academic year starts in January, in some other countries, it starts in September. So the students, they have to be students in 2025 or 2026. Each team can be made of 1, 2, or 3 students and 1 teacher, which is going to guide their students for the national stage, so in each country, because we know that you can have several teams from the same class, the same university. 1 teacher can guide several teams. For the international team, as you have as you have 1 team to represent the whole country, it's going to be, of course, 1 teacher guiding this team. And the participants, they represent the university and the country in which they are studying at the time of the competition. So let's say I'm a French student, but I'm an exchange student in the UK in 2026, then I will represent the UK and the university in which I am currently studying as an exchange student. But of course, you will have more time and you will have all the rules of the competition at a later stage. So as for the benefits, as I mentioned, it's a very professional experience because they have a real case study. It's also a great opportunity for the networking between themselves as they see peers from other countries. For the teachers also, it's a great way. We also have great feedback on networking between teachers. And it's also a personal experience. It's a fantastic human experience. It's a great way also to see architecture through the cultural lens of all the 30 plus countries who are all working on the same contest task and who have all original designs. And talking about networking, it's not only between yourselves as teachers and the students between themselves, it's also with our amazing international jury. You have the example here of the jury of this year in France. So we always have local representatives. So here we have Thierry Roche, who's a local architect in France. We have Marjolaine Meunier-Milfer, the president of the HQE GBC. We have Maxime Bonnevie, who's the managing director of one of the contest task sites in France 2025, and he's also an architect. We have Dalia, who is a former participant of the architecture student contest and now a doctoral assistant professor at the University of Belgrade and the co-owner of her studio. And then we have also international jury members. So this year we have Alicia Kutsera, who's the Chief Executive Officer of the Polish Green Building Council, also the chair of this Green Building Council CEO network. We have Karl Beckstrand, who is the Vice President of the Architects Council of Europe and the Deputy CEO of White Architecture. And we have always, as the President of the jury, Pascal Eveilla, who's the Director of Sustainable Construction at Saint-Gobain, and a person from the technical background from Saint-Gobain, who this year is Karel Sedlacek. So you see, it's a very strong and very interesting jury. And this contest gives the opportunity for you as teachers and for your students to have an interaction with those jury members. So here, I'm not going to show it to you because we have other videos to show you, but you will have on this presentation that we will make available to you after this session, a link to a short video to give you a taste of the architecture student contest, which is the edition that we had in Helsinki last year. To show you that, as I was mentioning, not only it is a great experience professionally speaking for the students, but it's also a fantastic human experience. So you'll be able to click on the link and discover the video. Do you have any questions on general information on the contest?
I see nothing on the chat.
Okay, so I will hope that is very clear, but anyway, we will remain available for you. And now I am giving the floor to Luca, who will talk to you about the contest task territory.
Okay, once again, hello everybody. Let's just say some things about Serbia. So Serbia, or officially the Republic of Serbia, is a landlocked country in Southeast Europe and is centrally positioned at the Balkan Peninsula. So if you're still not sure where Serbia is located on the map, we are surrounded by our neighboring countries such as Croatia, Hungary at the north, Romania, Bulgaria, etc. And having in mind that Serbia has really rich historical heritage, diverse culture, welcoming people, we are more than sure that our students will have more than enough sources of inspiration for the upcoming contest task. So for centuries, the strategic position made Serbia a key transit point between the Central Europe, Middle East, and the Mediterranean. And Belgrade is a capital of our country. It has a population around 1.7 million, and it is nestled at a confluence of two beautiful rivers, Sava and Danube, which will be a very important fact for our students for the upcoming student task. So I will do my best to present you the strategic potential, the rich historic heritage of our capital city, and of course the ambitious urban development plan. So we can move forward. Here are the members of a Serbian team as well. first picture is my, so hello once again. And then you can see that Mr. Todor Vujošević, which is a chairman of the Academic Yachting Club Belgrade. So currently he's struggling to connect. He has some technical issues, but hopefully he will manage to be with us today. And you will see why the Academic Yachting Club is important for our contest task. And then for the same location, for the contest task, we will hear something from Mr. Uroš Milošević, the representative of the Green and Blue Corridors in Serbia. So next slide, please. So let's get started from the history of Belgrade. And the story about Belgrade begins with Vinča civilization, which was established in the 6th millennium before Christ. So it's really fascinating because in that period we had some tribes that were focused on essentials to search for food or for shelter, and we have remains here in the territory of Belgrade. There are a proof that Vinča people had developed urban environment, buildings, streets, developed tools, weapons, beautiful art, so richly decorated ceramics, very interesting figurines made of clay. And they communicated with very interesting symbols, which is something like today's letters. And as probably the majority of the ancient civilizations, this one as well was established by the river. So in our scenario, we have two rivers, as I've mentioned. We have Sava and Danube River. So the confluence of Sava and Danube is probably the most beautiful place that we can show you here in Belgrade, but at the same time, it is the main reason why Belgrade was so important, strategical position for each and every empire that passed this way. So throughout a long history of Belgrade, the Belgrade has been ruled by Romans, Byzantines, Ottomans, Austro-Hungarians, and each of those left a significant mark on our city. So that could be an explanation why Belgrade is the city for which the greatest number of battles were fought, so as many as 115. Because if you can imagine that period of time, there was no high roads, there was no flights, so the main traffic lines, the main source of life was a river, and the Belgrade is positioned on the confluence of two rivers. So the one who controlled the confluence controlled the whole trade, traffic. It was very, very important strategical position. So as you already understood, Belgrade has a pretty interesting and a turbulent history, but because of that, now we can enjoy a beautiful and unique mixture of cultures, cuisine, art, and architecture, of course. And it would be interesting to mention something about the name Belgrade. So in Serbian, it is Beograd, and it is, let's say, developed out of two Slavic words. So Beo means white, and grad means city. So in literally translated, Belgrade means the white city, probably because of the limestone that was used for the development of Kalemegdan Fortress, the most important landmark in our city, nestled between two rivers, just at the confluence of two rivers. And the Kalemegdan Fortress itself is a unique testament to the city's shifting powers, because all of those mentioned empires left their mark on the Kalemegdan Fortress as well. So we can move on to talk about the Belgrade in figures. So as I've already mentioned, Belgrade has a population around 1.7 million. but we have to admit that that number can be significantly increased during the commuting period. Secondly, Belgrade is the most important economic city in Serbia, so it has a significant economic role. So you can see that it makes up to 40% of the Serbia's GDP. So these figures tell you that Belgrade is a so-called primate city, meaning that it's significantly more developed than other surrounding cities in our country. And it is very important to mention for you as for our students, because with the high level of urban development on one side, and with the fact that Belgrade is a primate city, we have some challenges that we need to deal with. So first of all, it's about traffic challenges, like any other average big European city. But for example, as an additional information, we still do not have a subway system, yet it is a part of a very ambitious urban master development plan. And the second challenge, since we have more and more citizens or people that would like to be part of a Belgrade, we need to protect the green areas. And I'm emphasizing those two because it will be very important, as I've mentioned, for our students and for the upcoming contest task. If we are mentioning religion, so Serbia is constitutionally a secular state, but religion is highly respected across society. Serbian nation is predominantly Orthodox Christians, and our religion played and still plays a significant role in cultural and spiritual life. So probably that was the reason why Belgrade has one of the biggest Orthodox churches in the world, and we are talking about the Temple of Saint Sava, which we will see a little bit in detail afterwards. So at the bottom of this slide, you can find a link so that you can visit the website of a statistical office of the Republic of Serbia for any additional statistical report or information. And of course, we are here for you for any further information. We can move on to talk about geography of Belgrade. Once again, the most important fact that we will mention several times probably today is the confluence of two rivers, the Sava and the Danube. And it is very, the relief of the Belgrade is very interesting. So in the north, the Pannonian plain dominates. So it's pretty flat area in the north. If you haven't heard about Pannonian plain, so the name comes from the ancient Pannonian Sea, which disappeared approximately 1 million years ago, but it covers the parts of today's countries such as Serbia, Croatia, Hungary, Romania, even Slovakia. And because we had ancient sea in that part of the whole northern part of a country, we have very, very fertile agricultural land. Then we have differences because we have a natural border, which is the River Sava, and we have differences in relief when we are comparing the western part and the eastern part of the city. So the eastern part of the city is pretty hilly. We are calling that Old Belgrade or just Belgrade. And it is the core of the city. And then on the eastern part of the city, it is the area that is now called New Belgrade. So it was built during the late 40s after the Second World War, but the most of that area was built during the 70s. And it is interesting to say that having in mind it is the confluence and the area between two rivers, that area before the New Belgrade was a swamp. So it is pretty flat, sandy area. Okay. This picture is very interesting because the students will receive additional document which will additionally explain the general context of the most important locations for our contest task. So we can move on and talk about the climate. So Belgrade is located 116 meters above the sea level. The climate is moderately continental with climate with the 4 seasons. The winter is not so harsh, so we have snow, but you know the high level of snow are just present on mountains in ski resorts. So for those who are ski lovers, we have a ski season from December till April. The summer months of June and August offer a lovely hot climate with a little rain. But something that we would like to emphasize, something that is very specific for Belgrade, is a southeast wind called Košava. So probably it's hard to pronounce for some of you. So Košava is very specific for Belgrade. It is tightly related with the Danube as well. And I've emphasizing that for several reasons. First of all, it brings us clear and dry weather. Secondly, it is very important because it is the biggest air purifier in Belgrade. And the third, which will be interesting for you, you will understand the role of the Academic Yachting Club Belgrade for the future contest task. So for our friends who are sailors, this wind is very important as well. We can move on and talk a bit about economy. So the economy of Serbia is developing, service-based, middle-income economy, but something that is more important, that we are currently experiencing the momentum of economic development. And as I've already mentioned, Belgrade is a primary city, so all of those progressive changes can be seen specifically in Belgrade and mostly in Belgrade, together with the very extremely high level of urban development. And then on the right side, something which is very, very important for all of us. It's like the next religion for the Serbian nation. And you will understand afterwards why it's so important for the upcoming contest task. So the sport holds significant place in the hearts of the Serbian nation. So from the basketball, volleyball, water polo, and tennis players, whether it's male or female sport, you know, all of those world-class athletes brought us joy, brought us international recognition and the glory to our country. And if you are thinking about why sport is so important for our nation, so the first explanation would be that sport is a really rare occasion where still the small one can be the big one, since we are a small country, which is very important for us. And secondly, as I already mentioned, during the history, we had some hard times. So sport success provided us, you know, united moments of joy and collective celebration. And we definitely do not have enough time or space to mention all the sports legends from Serbia, but we mention here just some of them. So hopefully you will recognize two gentlemen on the far left. So the first one is Novak Djokovic, probably one of the best players, tennis players in the world. And sorry, I have to read some of his titles because I do not know all of them, but he has won 100 titles so far, thereof 24 Grand Slams. He achieved a triple career Grand Slam by winning each of the 4 major at least 3 times. And he's for such a long period in tennis, so many opponents wish his career to end, but it was interesting that a few days ago he announced that he's fully focused on the preparation for the Olympic Games for 2028 in Los Angeles. And while we are mentioning the Los Angeles and the United States of America, it is good to mention the second gentleman, the second, let's say, national hero, Nikola Jokic is probably among the best basketball players currently in the NBA and among the best center players. He is a 7-time NBA All-Star player, and he is worldwide known by his nickname Joker, right? So the third picture, that's this beautiful lady, is well known as Milica Mandic. So now her surname is Juricic. She changed her surname after the marriage. She is a retired taekwondo fighter, and she is a member of a World Hall of Fame, Taekwondo Hall of Fame, mainly because she was European champion several times in a row, world champion, and 2-time Olympic champion. And something that would be interesting, that she is now an acting president of the Serbian Olympic Committee as well. So well-deserved position. The fourth one would be very interesting for you as well. It is our former water polo player, and he's probably the best scorer in this sport, in the history of this sport. The total of his scores is like 2,600 goals in his career, but that's not important for us right now. The thing that will be interesting for you, that he is currently the mayor of our capital city. So he is currently the mayor of the city of Belgrade. Okay, we can move on. And now we are on a slide where I do not have a lot of knowledge, since I'm not an architect, but not a lot of courage to go into detail. But luckily, you will receive the document with a detailed explanation of all of those locations. And as I've mentioned, you will understand influence of so many different cultures and styles on the architecture of Belgrade. So on the far left, once again, you can see the Belgrade fortress called Kalemegdan. So the origins of this cultural and historical landmark date back to the 3rd century before Christ, when it was first settled by the Celts, and then we had an influence of the Roman Empire, Byzantines, and then Ottoman Empire and Austro-Hungarian Empire. It is interesting to know that the Kalemegdan fortress was placed at the same border between Ottoman and Austro-Hungarian Empire at some moment. Then on the left side as well, you can see the Temple of Saint Sava, the building, the beautiful building that we've mentioned. So the construction of the Temple of Saint Sava began in 1935, following the vision to honor the founder of the Serbian Orthodox Christianity, the Saint Sava. And as I've mentioned, it is one of the biggest Orthodox churches in the world, and it has an impressive interior. At the middle of the slide, you can see beautiful examples of the academic architecture during the interwar period, so between the two great wars. And then on the far right, in the bottom right part, you can see the example of buildings in New Belgrade, so the area that we've already mentioned in the western part of the city, which was built during the late 40s, so after the Second World War, but the biggest part of the New Belgrade was built during the 70s. And in that area of the city, you can see the striking example of brutalist and modernist styles typical for mid-20th century, let's say, socialist Eastern Europe. Okay, and then we can move on and talk about the future. So Serbia has a really interesting history, but we do believe that it has a promising future as well. And as I've already mentioned, Belgrade is among European cities with the highest level of urban development. And we have really, really ambitious urban master plan, and with the riverbanks of Sava and Danube as a focal point. So the aim of the government is to bring back let's say like that, to bring back the riverbanks of the rivers to citizens of Belgrade. So that mentioned area collects the most attractive plots, and the symbol of that approach is definitely a huge project, very important project for all of us, that is called Belgrade Waterfront, that contains premium but balanced mix of uses. It is literally a completely new part of a city. And with Belgrade Waterfront, and then with the fact that we will be the host of the Expo in 2027, which will have like completely new part of Belgrade from the scratch. Together with the fact that the subway system is planned in the near future. So this is probably the biggest master development plan of Belgrade in a recent history. And at the bottom of this slide, you can see some of the priorities that are part of that master plan. And we do believe that it needs to be emphasized because of the student contest task. So basically, some of the major objectives. So Belgrade needs to host more inhabitants due to accelerated development of the city. Of course, it needs to attract more companies, more job opportunities, to boost urban rehabilitation, to qualify the public spaces, to return the riverfront to citizens of Belgrade, as I've mentioned, and something that is very important for our students as well, and the whole concept of architecture student contest is to promote sustainability and with a focal point on sustainable mobility, and to encourage the environmental efficiency. So that would be all from my side.
Thank you so much, Luca, for this passionate presentation and introduction to Belgrade, which really gives us interesting information and makes us want to discover even more about the city. If you have any question at this point, I can ask if you want to either raise your hand, unmute yourself, or put your question in the chat. Or if not, we will move on with the presentation of the contest task. Do we have any questions in the chat?
Let me check, but I see nothing for the moment. No.
Okay, so now that we are still dreaming about Belgrade, I will give you the floor, Timo, with the presentation of the contest task. But before you do so, please let me come back to SparkUp. So as I was mentioning, SparkUp is a very easy online solution to ask your questions. So we will open it now. It's now open. You can just take your phone, either scan the QR code that you see on the screen, or go to bc.sparkup.live. You can enter the code that you see here, so GUWTE, and then you will enter SparkUp. So it's open to anyone. You can go on SparkUp. It will give you a random user number. So for us to be able to track your questions better, we just ask you please to edit the random profile that will be created for you. So you just need to click on edit and then put your real name on the profile information. And then you will have access to the platform to be able to ask your questions and enter your comments. So as I mentioned, it's open now until June 16th. So you will have time to review the presentation, to review the contest task document and the additional documents that we will provide. And you will be able, as you review those documents, to put everything that you need to share with us on SparkUp. So here you have the QR code. You also have the address to the link if you prefer. And as I mentioned, we just please ask you to edit the profile that will be randomly generated with your real name and real first name, real last name, to be able to add your questions so that we can track them better.
Yes, just to highlight the importance of this is like when you go through the documentation, the presentation, and you have questions, we will gather these questions after June 16th and then work with the local team to identify the answers to your questions. So then we're going to be able to present and communicate the answers to the questions you have on the next Teachers' Day. So again, just to reemphasize what Gabriel mentioned, the ideas of these questions is for us to look at them more in detail in the next couple of weeks. So in the next Teachers' Day, we can communicate the most of the answers to any doubts that you may have.
Yes, thank you, Timo. And now, Timo will start by giving you a competition summary, and we will show you the videos that introduce the competition more in details.
Yes. So first, again, I'd like to thank the Serbia team for identifying a contest that is really interesting. I think it will be very motivating for the students to participate, and I think also for you teachers to support in this journey. Again, as you have seen, and as you will see also in the video, the contest task is really well placed within the city of Belgrade, where the waterfront main activities are being developed. So it will have a potentially significant impact on how it fits into the system in surrounding areas. And before going specifically into the details of the two projects for the new construction and the renovation, we'd like to show you the video that we have done with the also drone views that explains a little bit of the contest task. That will be part of the documentation the students will have to identify ideas and understand better the local context.
Yes, so without further ado, I will share with you the video that we have created for the architecture student contest. So let me share this screen. Okay, oops. And you should be able to see.
It's there, yes.
Perfect. And so now we will stop talking and show you the video. So just a question, can you hear the sound?
Yeah.
No.
No.
No. Let me. Sorry. Because.
It will come soon. It will come soon.
Yes. If I don't put the sound on, of course, you cannot hear the sound. Can you hear it now?
No,
Nope.
nothing.
No,
Unfortunately.
no, not yet.
Not yet.
Sorry. Let me try to share my screen again. Just 1 second. Okay. And this should be better here. Why do I? Okay. Can you hear the sound?
No,
No.
not
No.
yet.
No. Sorry.
You want me?
Yes.
You want me to try, and Gabriel, if you want to send me in the chat the link, I can try on my computer. Yeah.
I will send you the link. Let me try.
Yeah.
Okay, I will send you the link right now.
Maybe it's
I have
due
it.
to
Let me
the
check
meeting
if I-
room. Mhm.
Yes, this is the issue sometimes with the meeting rooms. Can
I
you?
share it here. I just shared it to
Yes.
the chat.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, let me just open it and it should be okay. Well done.
Thank you, Geraldine.
No problem. Okay, it's opening, huh? Just. Okay, and then I'm gonna share. Well, I need to find you back. Yeah. Partager, include the sound.
Yes, we're seeing your screen.
Any sound?
This video
Yes.
aims to share
Yeah.
with you the elements of context and description of the contest task for the 2026 edition of the Architecture Student Contest organized by Saint-Gobain. The task will take place in Serbia's capital city, Belgrade. The project's challenge is to urbanize a prime area nested on the riverbank of Sava, close to the city center. The task covers three main goals: a renovation of one existing building to enhance its functionality and accessibility, but keeping its existing purpose; a new residential building project for athlete accommodation; and the urban design of the surrounding public spaces that connect these buildings. We want to give as much of Belgrade as possible to those who don't know this wonderful city yet. Thanks to drone views, we want you to visualize the city and the area of the task, its life, and its atmosphere. Belgrade, the capital of Serbia, has a population of around 1.7 million. It is nestled at the confluence of the Sava and Danube rivers, where its story begins ancient civilization and has been shaped through centuries of rich and turbulent history, making it a city with a unique spirit and energy. Belgrade's strategic location at the very heart of the Balkan Peninsula means it attracted friends and foes. It's been fought over by foreign powers for thousands of years. So, from ancient civilizations to Ottoman and Austro-Hungarian empires, all kinds of outsiders have left their mark here, meaning this city can be described as a unique time capsule of this part of the world. Through the analysis of key locations in Belgrade, you can discover how the past shapes life in Belgrade today. The historical core of Belgrade, Kalemegdan, lies on the right banks of both rivers. It was the starting place around which the current Belgrade was born and developed. The significance of the location is indicated by the fact that Belgrade is the city for which the greatest number of battles were fought, as many as 115. The one who controlled this vantage point controlled the confluence of Sava and Danube, harbors, the river traffic, and the borderline between empires. Kalemegdan Fortress is an example of architectural evolution, reflecting the region's complex history. The fortress includes elements of Roman, Byzantine, Ottoman, and Austro-Hungarian architecture, making it a unique testament to the city's shifting powers and cultural influences. Skadarlia is to Belgrade what Montmartre is to Paris, a bohemian quarter that captures the essence of the city's artistic and cultural heritage. Known for cobblestone paths, traditional Serbian restaurants known as kafana, and lively atmosphere, Skadarlia is the place for those who are seeking the perfect blend of old-world charm and positive energy. The construction of the St. Sava Temple in Belgrade began in 1935, following the vision to honor St. Sava, the founder of the Serbian Orthodox Church. Over decades of construction, it has grown into one of the largest Orthodox churches in the world, with an impressive interior, adorned with beautiful mosaics in marble, representing both the spiritual and cultural heritage of Serbia. Ada Ciganlija, often referred to as Belgrade Sea, is a river island that has been artificially turned into a peninsula. The same name refers to the adjoining artificial lake and its beach. It was turned into an immensely popular recreational zone, most notable for its lush greenery, sandy beaches, sports facilities which, during summer seasons, can have over 100,000 visitors daily and up to 300,000 visitors over the weekend. Ada Ciganlija stands as an urban oasis, offering a refreshing escape from the bustle of Belgrade. Today, the expansion of the White City is reflected in ambitious urban projects, modernization efforts, and growing investment opportunities. The realization of the ambitious master plan is underway, with the waterfront of the Danube and Sava as a focal point. The symbol of this ambitious plan is a project called Belgrade Waterfront. The project collects the most attractive plots within the city, contains a balanced mix of uses, including a world-class residential community, hotels, cultural venues, educational institutions, retail, and a wide range of leisure attractions in order to create a diverse and self-contained urban area. Additionally, it contains many public areas, including 1.8-kilometer-long waterfront, 27,000 square meter large public park, and community pocket parks within the residential community. The project forms a functional, multi-use area of the city that can function independently. The location of our contest task is exceptional. Located strategically near the confluence of the Sava and Danube rivers, adjacent to the Belgrade waterfront project and within sight of the historic Kalemegdan fortress, this project aims to develop the new area, following the main objectives of the city's master plan. This prime location, currently occupied by an industrial cement factory, offers an unprecedented chance to reimagine the waterfront as a vibrant hub for sports, recreation, and community engagement. To introduce ambitious plans of Belgrade's development, as well as the importance of the contest task location, we interviewed the chief urbanist of the city of Belgrade, Marko Stojčić. Dear colleagues, welcome to our city, Belgrade. Maybe you know, maybe you don't, but Belgrade is today the city with the highest level of urban development in all of Europe. We are proud of all the projects that are happening in our city today. We are doing a lot at one time, building the National Stadium, metro, bridges, tunnels, arranging public areas, and something that is perhaps the most important for us now, which is the organization of Expo 2027, when Belgrade will be the host of this event for the first time. From May 15, 2027, over 100 countries will participate in this world event, and we are trying to organize our city to the best extent possible until that moment, to make it as beautiful and functional as possible. We look forward to your participation, your projects which, like all ours, will be sustainable, green, interesting, and unique, both in Europe and in the whole world. We can't wait to see your suggestions. The first challenge regards the construction of a new building, which we named Building A. The idea is to transform this site into a mixed-use development that prioritizes a residential space for athletes and recreational activities with public access. The athlete accommodation with supporting services, including a cafeteria, changing rooms, and training facilities, will provide a comprehensive experience for visitors. Currently, there is a cement plant with respective areas for transport and storage, with a few green areas. It's surrounded by Brodarska Street and a railway bridge that crosses the river. The plot size is approximately 120,000 meters square in total. It is important to mention that a number of existing buildings in this plot area are intended to be demolished, meaning that students have the freedom to create an idea for a complete new urban area. The accommodation for athletes needs to be designed for around 100 to 200 athletes with flexibility for future expansion. The facilities could be used for visiting athletes for national competitions, for training concentrations by amateur teams, or other use related to sports activities. The accommodation facilities can be arranged within a single building or in the form of multiple accommodation units in a campus layout. If the accommodation is planned in a campus layout, it should include a central building with services. The height of the building should be up to 4 stories. Provide a variety of room types, single and double rooms, to cater for different needs and preferences as indicated in the contest task. For the rest of the site not related to the athlete accommodation, students should propose only volumetric designs for adjacent and complementary functions while focusing on pedestrian and bicycle connectivity along the riverfront. The second challenge is the renovation of an existing academic yachting club, which we called Building B. The Academic Yachting Club is officially the oldest yachting club in Belgrade, but this building is relatively new. It was built in 2008. In the 360 video, you can see its location. To introduce the building task related to the renovation project, we interviewed the chairman of the club's board, Todor Vujošević.
Hello and welcome. I am Todor Vujošević from Academic Yachting Club Belgrade, Akademski jedriličarski klub Beograd. I am chairman of our board, and we are sailing club, oldest club in Belgrade and one of the oldest in Serbia. As you see, we are on the very nice place on the river Sava. We are club that from 1934 working and training people about sailing, about nautic, and all the others approaching rivers, approaching boats. Our club, it is new building, and all this area, it is not new, but area and building that we have to finish. We have to do a lot of things. We are expecting from all of you your idea, what to do, how to finalize this building and this area to be one and a real sailing club and place where the kids or whoever who like river, who like sailing can be and enjoying.
The renovation project seeks to breathe new life into the club, preserving its historical legacy while adapting it to the needs of modern sailing and water sports. The design should enhance the club's connection to the river, creating welcoming public spaces and improving accessibility for all. By embracing sustainable practices and integrating seamlessly with the new development on the adjacent site, the renovated club will become a vibrant hub for the sailing community and a cherished landmark for the city. The renovation will maintain the same program, and students should aim to modernize the facilities, to think about how to optimize the use of the existing spaces, training, storage, and administrative functions, improve circulation for athletes, staff, and visitors. Students can consider the connection to the river by possibly expanding waterfront access. The renovation must work within the limitations of the existing building, including its structural elements and potential constraints on modifications. The potential of the contest task location development can significantly contribute to the restoration and preservation of the green corridor alongside the riverbank, connecting the existing paths for pedestrians and cyclists and creating new lanes. Increase in bicycle traffic in the new Belgrade area could significantly contribute to lowering the air pollution. Riverbank development must be in line with the fragile natural ecosystems, contributing to biodiversity protection. The task area is also specific by an unusual seasonal inhabitant, a protected bird species, pygmy cormorant. To understand the needs of the specific location and its ecological importance, we interviewed a representative of a society called Green and Blue Corridors, Uroš Milošević.
Hello, my name is Uroš. I'm member of Green Blue Corridors Association. We are in charge for habitat of Microcarbopygmaeus or small cormorant. This is a bird who decided to have its habitat here in the center of the Belgrade city, which has almost 2 million people inhabitants. So this is a very challenging task. You have a unique chance to help us to improve this area, to bring it closer to the people who live in Belgrade and to our visitors. Your sustainable and imaginable solutions will help us to protect this area and preserve Microcarbopygmaeus for future generations. So let the game begins.
This was a short description of the city of Belgrade, the plot area, and the task to be developed. Please remember, this is a design idea competition, so feel free to explore and provide new ideas while addressing the main requirements of the task. While you strive for a winning solution and potential inspiration for the future of Belgrade, pay attention to the environmental and sustainable construction aspects to make the world a better home for future generations. Let the games begin.
So this was the introduction video for the contest task of the Architecture Student Contest 2026. And Timo will show you another video that will be very, very useful to you and your students. And then we'll, of course, come back to the contest task.
Yes, we'll come back. Let me just share my screen here. Perfect. And again, you will have the recording from today. You will have access to the video. You will have access to the PDF document of the contest task, more of what is requested for the students in terms of context of the city, program inside each of the buildings, and how it's going to be evaluated. And you will also have access to this video that I'm going to be showing you right. It's not a video; it's a 360 video. Sorry, that will show you what's it like to go within the spaces of the existing building of the yachting club, for the students to have an idea of what's inside. So once you go in, the video will play and you will land into the contest task area. And if you have worked with 360 videos before, in YouTube once we land to the place. We're getting there soon. You can see it's a really nice place, basically in the city center of Belgrade. And there you can see the entrance of the green and blue corridor to the yachting club. When I will put a pause here for the moment, but you will, when you can move around the 360 video to see what's around, so the students can see what is currently there, what's available for them to exchange ideas. If you move down, you will see where you are in the map based on the view that you have. So students, as they move around, they will know exactly where they are in terms of location and what they're looking at. And as you play forward, the video will start to move to different locations. I'll just, randomly move to specific place outside and inside. And you will see pictures of images of what's inside. So they know what's the current existing layout of the existing buildings. And again, if they move the video, the image towards to the ground floor, they will see where's the image located, where the video was taken from. So they can see what exists. As Todor was mentioning in the video before, the building is quite recent, but there's a lot of space that needs to be adapted to the current conditions that they're looking for. And again, you can see what is it like right now. And students, again, are free to propose changes in adaptation to the building from a renovation perspective. And we'll keep moving forward for you to see other aspects of the spaces inside the building. And this is something that you will count with in regards to, as an additional support for students to use in their design project. So again, you will have access to the video that we show, to this recording that where we're talking about, all the context, etc., to the links that Luca was mentioning, to this 360 video, to the PDF that explains the contest task in more detail. And again, as Angel mentioned, the idea of the Spark Up questions is for you to pose as many questions as you see in terms of things that you want to clarify, in terms of, for example, I don't know, what is some specific facade made of? Is it possible to have a specific documentation? So we can be able, in the next Teacher's Day, bring you some of the answers. So this is a 360 video that again you can use in your students too to support the design process. And with that, we can go back to the presentation to continue talking about the specificities of each of the sites.
Yes, let me share the presentation again.
Again, if there's any questions that you have at the moment that you'd like to ask, feel free to share them and we'll try to answer them as we go along. So, as you know, I mean, if you have been part of the Section 2 contest before, you know that we always address a new construction and a renovation project because it's important for us, for students, to focus on those type of building typologies, and not only to bring about new designs and solutions, but how to address existing buildings that may have need to be adapted. So we always work on those. So similarly, for this contest task in Belgrade, we have two areas. What we call the zone for building A, which is what you see here in the image, is a large surface that today is being occupied by a cement plant. This, and the idea is for the students to take a usage of all this space and propose a training center for athletes. As Luca mentioned, sports are a big topic in the country. And on that note, the idea for the contest is to leverage this potential space for the students to bring about a sports related activity and building. The building is meant to be for between 100 and 200 athletes, visiting athletes that may be coming to train to have a specific team meeting or other amateur sports team with the potentiality of being expanded in the future. The students don't necessarily have to have a one building. There could be several structures that the students can propose throughout this large surface. And then they can also propose other volumetric designs, not to go necessarily into detail, but to propose where they could be placed. For example, I don't know, a tennis court or a swimming pool or other aspect that they think would complement this training center, but from a conceptual volumetric perspective. And then think about the rest of the green areas that would need to be included into this surface to make the link not only with the activities of the sporting project per se, but also the link with the surrounding areas. And you see here the image, and if you go to Google Maps for more local information, you will see that there's a Japanese park nearby towards the east. Towards the other side, you will see the continuation a little bit further towards the west, a continuation of the bike line in the waterfront. So for them to think about, what potential connectivity there could be in the future from this site. So again, the invitation is also to further look at what's around this area. When you go through the Google map, you will be able to see, from different positions what's nearby. But students have a complete freedom to propose many things in this area, because the objective is for this cement plant not to be there longer, but for it to be more of an athletic center and accommodation for athletes. I don't know if at this moment any of you have any specific questions. If not, we have Spark up to be able to give more answers for the next issues meeting. But it's just to give you an idea of what is being requested in regards to the new construction project. Okay. When we talk about the building B, which is we can go to the next slide, which is the building where Tudor was talking about related to the yachting club. I find it quite interesting for those who like sports. It's quite nice for students to propose something there. Before explaining any further, I want to know if Tudor or other are online. Maybe they want to share some few words on this site and what it means for them.
I'm afraid that Tudor is not with us, that he didn't manage to connect. But on behalf of the Academic Yachting Club, I can only repeat some of the facts. So the club has existed since the 1934, and it is officially the oldest sailing club in Belgrade. So until the 2008, the club was part of that area that we've mentioned in the video called Ada Ciganlija, Old Belgrade Sea. And due to construction of the bridge over the Ada Ciganlija Lake, the club moved to the lower part of Small Ada, or to the current position. So the building is relatively new. So it was built during the 2008, but the club has a significant historical legacy. On one side of the club is the backwater, where pioneers and juniors are trained, and on the other side is River Sava, where seniors sail and train. And until now, competitors have won the title of state champion in several categories every year. So the club is very proud of its so-called optimist team. So those are the sailors from 7 to 15 years old. Which has been the current national champion for many years and has participated with a great success in international competitions. So the club has around 100 members and dozens of recreational sales boats at their disposal. So I'm not going to talk more about the club, but I will use the opportunity to announce Uroš. So Uroš is a member of Green Blue Corridors. Uroš, can you hear us?
Hello. Nice to see you.
I hope you see me in few moments. Hello. Hello. I will represent shortly our small association. We are proud to be part of this project, which is sounds very interesting to me. I'm a civil engineer. I'm not an architect, but I'm connected with these kind of projects. Also participate in Belgrade Waterfront, presented a few moments ago. Just shortly, our association take cares of microcarbopygmeus habitat here next to the yachting club. We are officially in charge for this area in front of Belgrade Secretary for Ecology. And we do this for last 3 years. It is a challenging task, but we have some good things in the last few years because we managed to enlarge the number of birds in the last year, and we are doing monitoring every winter. And something about the bird itself, I will tell you now. It is one of the birds which is under protection in whole Europe, and its population in this area next to the yachting club is sometimes up to the 10% of its population in the whole Europe. So it is a very important habitat for for Belgrade and also for this bird. And the area which is protected is about 22 acres. It is divided in 3 zones. The biggest biggest area is next to the yachting club. So I won't take more of your time. I would just like to say that you will have our cooperation if some questions needed, any data or visiting the field. We are here. So have a nice time on this project, and I hope it will be very successful. Bye bye. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Uros, for the words and the introduction to the site. And just to complement what Luca and what Uros mentioned, as you see, the overall contest task between the site for building A, the renovation of the yachting club, and how to incorporate and address the sustainability aspects related also to the ecological corridor are paramount for the project, and to highlight the city of Belgrade in these developments that they're embarking. I think for yourself as teachers and for your students, it will be quite an interesting and motivating a project to work on. Again, if there's any questions related to information that you might want to inquire into that has not been provided, the idea is for the next couple of weeks for you to share those questions with us so we can try to answer the best as possible. But again, this is the introduction of what the Building A project and the Building B projects are about for the next session in Belgrade next year. And to continue, just to explain what we're looking for when we talk about the sustainability aspects of the project. We can go to the next slide. So within Saint-Gobain, the way we frame sustainable construction is what you see here on the slide. Basically, we think that sustainable buildings have to contribute and be better for the planet, but also better for the people. For the people is not only talking about internal comfort from acoustic, lighting, thermal, and sound, but also in terms of importance for the job and healthy job sites for installers, in terms of accessibility to the site, transportation of materials, hazardous or working conditions, and address all those topics related to people that might be working or living in these places. But also a pillar on better for the planet related to these major trends that we're identifying in terms of, energy efficiency, decarbonization, how to use materials to reduce the embodied and the operational carbon of the buildings, and the topics related to circularity. What are we talking about in terms of, recycling services, using products that have a high recycled content, talking about the modularity and flexibility of systems and solutions that can be put in place so they can be reused or into other contexts, and how to best manage resources in general. So this is a framework of how within Saint-Gobain we try to structure and think about, product innovation, implementations of solutions in the sites. So the invitation is for students to reflect also based on this framework that I'm presenting, and on how they come up with ideas that they can address within the contests for building A and for building B. If we can continue to the next slide. When we talk about better for the planet, and as we mentioned before, there are specific aspects that we're requesting to be addressed within the project. So for the students to carry out an energy simulation to estimate the energy consumption of the building. So think about the envelope of the building, the location, the relationships between windows and walls, the orientations, to make sure that a specific energy demand is met. Students are encouraged to use a plugin that was developed by Saint-Gobain that they can use within the software SketchUp, where they can, within their SketchUp model, identifying specific materials, they can run an energy simulation to estimate the results. The students will also have at their disposal an access to the software One-Click LCA to carry out the life cycle analysis for embodied carbon of the new building. And all of this is going to be better explained within the document of the contest task, but it's just to share some of the asks that are going to be requested within the project. And also, as I mentioned before, think about resources and circularity, where they're going to proposing to get the materials, how they're going to be used, is there going to what's going to happen after the end of life of the project, just to include some of the recommendations within the project design. If we can continue to the next slide. And for better for the people, I'm sure you have already, all the students have already been working on this in their career, but just to highlight some of the requirements that we'd like to see in their projects. Talk about, how is the space optimized for the daylight autonomy in terms of maximizing natural daylight. Topics of acoustics, understanding that we are close to the river, but also to different bridges and roads. So how to minimize that external acoustic disturbances within the residential and training areas. Indoor air quality also related to the ecological corridor, and take into account, as Luca mentioned, the existing weather conditions to make sure that there's a comfort within the different spaces. So these are some of the requests that are going to be evaluated from the contest test. They're all going to be also within the document, but for you to be aware when you share them with your students. And finally, what is quite important is something that we have applied for the past couple of years, the judging criteria for the international stage, which is also the recommended evaluation criteria for the national stages. How it is divided? Obviously, we put importance of both the new construction and the renovation project with different weights. 60% of the grade or the evaluation will be on the new construction and 40% the renovation. And then there will be a split between the architectural proposal that the students are designing and the sustainability characteristics of what they're proposing. And then you see a couple of bullet points to try to explain a little bit of what is being searched for each one. So obviously for the architectural part is, does the design fit the context? Is it functional? Is there enough building information in terms of materials that are used, the elevations, the cuts, etc., that give a clear idea of how they went about their architectural proposal, and also the connectivity in terms of the different nearby spaces, including a proposal for the green space. And for the civil construction aspect, there's a mic somewhere there. How they included all the topics that I mentioned before related to better for the planet and better for the people. How they address the issue of decarbonization in the building sector, how they integrate recommendations for circularity, how they make sure that there's a fire safety requirement that are met, but also the comfort for people that are going to be visiting, living, and using those installations. What type of solutions are they uses to obviously minimize thermal bridges, acoustic bridges, prevent moistures and mold from preventing. So things related to the sustainability performance of the building. And there will be also be a part on how they use and correctly use Saint-Gobain materials into this project. To this specifically third bullet point, the team from Serbia is preparing a specific document that will be shared later on existing solutions in the local market, so the students know what's available when they're proposing Saint-Gobain solutions for the project. So with this, I just wanted to conclude that this will be the judging criteria for the international stage, which will also be the judging criteria that Saint-Gobain countries will use it at the national stage too.
Thank you very much, Timo. Just a word on the document that you mentioned with the list of Saint-Gobain solutions available in the local market in Serbia. We will specify it on the document, but it's not a requirement to use those materials. It's a suggestion, really. So do we have any questions? We know that we shared a lot of information on the contest task, on the judging criteria, on the beautiful city of Belgrade. Do you have questions that you would like to ask now? Or if not, as we mentioned, you still have access until June 16th to SparkUp to have time to process everything. Guillermo, do you have a question for us?
Yes, thank you, Timo, and the team for presenting the task for this year. Is amazing. Looks very promising. I have two, one question and one suggestion. The question is about the existing elements of infrastructure on the site. You have very prominent railway elements that obviously don't have anything to do with the new function or the evolution of this site, but they are not. The question is, are they planned to be modified in the future, or can they be used in some way? Because, for example, the two parts of the project are separated by this branch of the river, this entry. In case of a connection between the two sites, is it possible to utilize somehow that bridge or the structure, or everything has to be new and somehow ignore the railway bridges, both of them?
Good question. I don't know, Luca, if you have a proposal for that. I mean, not necessarily an official response, but a reflection of what they could do, and then we can see with the city what are the specific limitations.
Yeah. First of all, thank you for your question, and you're right. We have two railway bridges. So basically, on the high level of urban development, those bridges are not sufficient. So probably in the near future, we will have more bridges in Belgrade. In that manner, it would be wise not to use those existing ones, but it can be plausible for students to think how to make a connection between that tip of peninsula where we have a yachting club and the mainland. So having in mind that it will be very, very demanding to go into a detail about some connection. So that can be designed just as an idea. And as Gabriel mentioned, that can be just, that's not mandatory, let's say like that. So the students have a freedom, but not the obligation to create that connection.
Yeah, because I understand that the vision of a, let's say, master plan is actually confined to this large area in front of the building to renovate, and that will become almost like an athletic village. If the teams need to imagine, because I was exploring the map, Google Map, and there's plenty around that area that will evolve or could be positively impacted by this project. How do you see the possibility of teams generating a bigger context, a bigger vision of that part of the city as a very, very general master plan?
Well, it would be great for to hear Timoteo's idea and suggestion as well. But
I'll be I have two answers for that. Probably one that you would like, Guillermo. Probably the other one not so much. Let's see. On the positive side, I think any ideas that the students can provide, the city most likely will welcome them, and that is always positive. Nevertheless, just to be objective, the evaluation will not be based on if you went over the boundaries of the contest task. So if you go over the boundaries of building A and propose, a museum or whatever, that would be an interesting, nice to have extra, but it's not part of the evaluation. But I think in terms of the concept, if you say, what we're proposing could potentially impact the expansion of the city, I'm sure that the city will welcome, ideas like that, but also be, objective in the sense that, students have a limited time. So if they want to focus on that part and not on the project, then, how to balance that implication.
Yeah,
and I'm just looking at some of the questions here, and Guillermo, I'll let you continue. These are the questions that if you can share them with us, for us to ask the city, what are the heights of the bridges? Are there specific limitations? That's information that we don't have right now, but we will look into them so we can provide you with that type of information.
Yeah, so you saw Matthew's questions on the chat. So there was a question for a map about existing bike roads and pedestrian ways, the heights that should be given for bridges, and the height necessary for passage of boats. So we are writing down all those questions. And as Timo mentioned, this is also the goal of this first session and all the time that you have to review everything on SketchUp, because we're taking those questions and we will give them to our local partners to be able to provide you with the best answer. So thank you for those questions. We are writing them down.
And now the recommendation. You said that the consultation period, the opportunity for sending questions will be up to the 16th of June, which is the day we arrive on, ideally, to Lyon. And in my experience in previous years, the 3 days or the 2 days, the intense days of the competition are quite a good place to have informal conversations about the task. And somehow, I've met with professors that will be running the competition and will have somehow not questions, but like visions of it. Is there a chance of extending that time for raising the questions up until, let's say, the 18th in the night or something like that? I'm not suggesting to create a debate at the event, right? not to make it that way, because it will distort the purpose of it, which is to award the current competition, right? But because of that opportunity of conversations during more, let's say, social things, would it be possible to extend that?
Yes, no, it's a great point, Guillermo, and thank you for raising it. The reason why we had stopped it at the 16th is because we want to leave time for the local partners to provide the answers, but we can move the deadline up to the 18th, so we will change it, no problem. without guarantee that the last questions will already be answered. If we have answers after the session 2 of the Teachers' Days, we will provide you with them, but after the session. It's just my only concern is the timing for the local partners to gather the answers to the comments and questions, but it's no problem for us to move the deadline to the 18th. And I know that Luca, Goran, Nina, and all the local partners, they do their best to answer quickly. So with a little chance, we'll have all the answers, and if not, we will provide the answers after.
So, Luca, are you going to be in Lyon?
Yeah, hopefully.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you for your questions, Guillermo. I don't think we have any other question on the chat.
No. But again, please send them via the Spark Up for us to be able to gather the potential answers and documentation needed.
Absolutely. So this was the judging criteria, the contest task, and all the information that we were very eager to share with you. So now for the next steps, as we mentioned, so we'll have the question, and the deadline is not June 16th, it's June 18th now, so we will change this. On SparkUp, you will have the presentation with the QR code and the link to connect if you have not had the chance to connect yet. And then we'll be very, very glad to meet again online on June 24th from 2 to 4 p.m. French time to review the comments, the feedback, and the questions that you have asked with the answers from our local partner. And as Timo mentioned, as I mentioned as well, this is really essential and so important for us because as the teachers, you have the knowledge also to make the contest task better, to make it easier to understand for the students as well. So thank you very much for your time today. Thank you for all the time that you will give to the documentation and the videos that we will send you. And just a reminder that no public communication until June 18th. So here is the addition for the 2026 timeline for those who are not familiar with the competition. So we start with the Teachers' Days on the year before the competition. Then we will launch the contest registration on our website in September 2025. From September to January, we provide free online trainings for the students and for yourselves as well on the variety of topics, but we have trainings on one-click LCA, for instance. We have technical trainings from engineers at Saint-Gobain Research. So it's a variety of training that can be very interesting and helpful to design the projects. In March, we will open the registration platform for the winners of the national stages to register for the international event. Then, all the countries, they will conduct their national stage, and we will have, at the end of April, the name of the winning teams who will represent all countries at the international stage. They will have until May to submit all the required material for the international stage, and we will very gladly meet all the winners for the international stage from June 23rd to June 25th in Belgrade. So this is just an overview. The more precise timeline is going to be shared at the end of 2025. But for now, the date to remember is June 18th to ask your question and give your comments, and June 24th for the second session of the Teachers' Days. And here you have the link to the official website. It's a great also opportunity if you want to have a look at the current projects which are currently competing for the Architecture Student Contest 2025, because they are now online. You have 33 countries, 33 projects. So you can click on the link here to have a look at them and see the quality and the imagination and the commitment of the students. And you have also our social networks here. So thank you again so much for your attention, for your first feedbacks, your first questions. We are always very, very happy to hear from you. We will provide to all our Saint-Gobain colleagues across the world the link to this presentation, the link to the contest task document, the additional documentation as well, and the link to the videos that we have shown you so that they can share them with you. And this SparkUp is open for your question and your comments.
Thank you.
Perfect.